Hi everyone! Welcome! I'm Professor Eliane Provati Queiroz, and I'm here to talk about planning the teaching of languages. This video class is part of Unit 4, named From Theory to Practice, Active Methodologies. Let's start? In this video class, I'm going to highlight some concepts related to flipped classroom and gamification. More specifically, as you can see here, we are going to work on the definition and after on how to flip your language classroom. I'm going to present some hints on how to put the concept into practice. After, we are going to talk about gamification, the definition of gamification, gamifying the language classroom. Also some hints on how to put the concept of gamifying into practice. Starting with a little bit of theory. The concept of flipped classroom. The flipped classroom is a teaching strategy that allows instructors to more actively engage with students in the classroom. In the flipped classroom, instructors typically assign recorded video lectures as homework and use class time for active learning exercises and direct engagement with students. Flipped classrooms are a form of blended learning, a term that refers to any form of education that combines face-to-face instruction with computer-mediated activities. And what are the differences between traditional classroom and a flipped classroom? Let's see them. In traditional classrooms, the length of time is usually used for correcting homework from the previous class, followed by a first exposure to the content via lecture, and homework is assigned so that, through practice, students can get a deeper understanding of the content. Teachers play the central role, a more active one, while students are passively expected to learn. On the other hand, in a flipped classroom, the length of time is usually divided in 3 different moments. First, students are exposed to the content via videos or reading passages previously selected by the teacher, and it happens before class, at home, at work, in students' free time. When learners come to class, they are expected to get a deeper understanding of the concepts they self-studied at home through practical activities. And after class, back home, they still have some homework, but majority of the time is used to get themselves ready for the next class. In a flipped classroom, students play a more active role and are invited to take more responsibilities in the learning process. Teachers are considered a kind of manager, the one in charge of setting learning goals and organizing the learning process. And why? Why should a teacher flip the classroom? Let's see. Improved educational outcomes. It makes the learning process more meaningful. Efficiency. Interactive lectures. Students and teachers playing a more interactive role, not only passive and active. Students usually playing a passive role and teachers usually playing a more active one. Data and analytics, student-driven lectures, mastery learning, multiple submissions encourage grade improvement. And I'm going to provide you with some tips on how to flip your classroom. Let's flip together. First of all, plan. Figure out which lesson in particular you want to flip. Outline the key learning outcomes and plan your lessons in advance. You don't have to flip all your classes. You can pick some contents and try to flip it. Record. Instead of teaching this lesson in person, make a video mentioning all the key elements you'd mention in the classroom. It means record your lesson. Share. Send the video to your students, making it clear that the content will be fully discussed in class, making it clear that they have to watch the video before coming to class. They have to research, to try to find some more information about this subject before coming to the class. Change. After viewing the lesson, students are prepared to actually go more in depth. Group. An effective way to discuss the topic is to separate into groups where students are given a task to perform. For example, write a poem, write a play, make a video, and so on. Regroup. Get the class back together to share the individual group's work with everyone. Ask questions. Motivate students to go deeper. Motivate students to research, to find more information about that specific subject. Motivation is essential and is also a key concept in this kind of classroom. And gamification. Gamification is also considered an active methodology. So let's start with a definition. What does it mean to gamify a language classroom? Gamification or game-based learning or play-based learning refers to a type of gameplay with clear and defined learning outcomes. It means employing well-designed digital and non-digital games to stimulate learners' language, critical thinking, and problem-solving abilities. It includes elements of games or play into the learning environment to boost engagement and participation. In short, we can say that gamification means applying game principles to non-game situations. The main objective of applying the concept to the language education is to motivate students to become more active, more participant in the learning process. And why is it beneficial to the language classroom? Because gamification provides ideal environment for the encouragement of active and critical learning, the pleasure of exploring and understanding a new system, a variety of ways, different media and platforms to pierce distractions and engage learners in a way that few other methods can. A key for the development of learners' autonomy. They can self-correct easily with a minimum of emotional stress. A clear path of progression, and learner can learn at their own pace. Some hints to gamify your language classroom, or some steps you can follow, in order to gamify your language classroom. First of all, learner engagement. Make students feel they are part of the process. Ask their preferences and include their preferences, in your lesson plan. Ask them what kind of games they usually play, what kind of games they like, and use this kind of information to plan your lessons. Ask others. Share ideas with colleagues. Include parents in your planning. Mainly to make it clear the differences between playing and learning. They have to be aware that The kids are playing to learn and not only for fun. Classroom management. Make the objectives clear. Explain and be clear about what the rules for usage are. Remind learners that they are still in class and they are there to learn, not only to play, as I said before. Structure your class accordingly. Make sure there is a clear context for using games in the lesson. It's not just playing, but playing to learn something related to that lesson specifically. Step back. Don't intervene. Allow students to figure something out unless they really need. It's part of the learning process. They have to figure out the things by themselves. And some features of effective DBL activities. Teachers should consider the following when planning to use games in the classroom. First of all, having clear linguistic aims in lesson planning. Second, ensuring lots of student interaction and productive chatter. Allowing elements of student autonomy as they create and adapt rules to solve problems. Giving feedback on language at multiple points in the lesson. Allowing multiple opportunities to attempt the game. Moving away from dominant competitive play. Some examples of games you can use to gamify your language classroom. Duolingo is one of them. It's a language course and it uses the strategies of gamification, the challenge. Minecraft is a very common game. Children usually like to play it a lot. How to Train Your Dragon is also a possibility. The Harry Potter game. They are all free. You can download them or you can use them online in internet, and they can help a lot. And they can also provide real texts. Yeah, you can also use them to put your students in contact with real texts in English. I'm going to finish this video class with a question for you to reflect. The question is, how does the employment of active methodologies in the classroom change the roles of teachers and learners? Think of it for a little and take part in our discussion forum. Give your opinion about this and share some games, share some lesson plans, share some experience you have already had in gamifying your lessons. Okay? See you. Bye-bye.